Welcome to another video of mine, ladies and gentlemen. Before I begin today's video, if you enjoy this video, smash that juicy like button just there, just down there. Just scroll down a little bit, give it a nice little thumbs up. And if you agree with any of the points that I've raised, or you want to challenge me and hold me to task, then drop a comment in the comment section down below. Keep it civil. Keep it civil. Now, today's topic at hand. This is something I've touched upon in a few of my live streams here or there, but I've not dedicated a whole video to it because, I don't know, I was kind of in two minds whether to actually do this video or not because we're so close to Season 5, but I thought, hey, there's a couple of months still, we'll probably get some promo images this month, maybe next, teaser next month, and then the trailer next month. So I thought, let me just do a video getting this out of the way. One of my main critiques with Season 4, and why I think this was a huge missed opportunity. A huge missed opportunity. Now, Eli had one of my favourite arcs last season, and his trophy win at the end of the season sent me, a cloud 9. Like, I did not expect them to do that. Now, I did do a video before Season 4 dropped saying Hawk could win, but the only thing that would hold him back is if Robbie and Miguel were in the picture. And Robbie was, you know, somewhat distracted by his influence over Kenny, and Miguel was removed from the situation, so it allowed Hawk to really shine and really come through like he always has been willing to, like he's always been able to do. Hawk is on the same level as Robbie and Miguel, just I don't think he will be better than them, but it's just my opinion, but he will be, you know, a close third that can always challenge them or match them, and depending on the plot and the situation and the circumstances, you know, all those different factors should be taken into account as to how the situation can play out. But what I think was a missed opportunity is after his mohawk is shaved, like myself and everyone else predicted that his hair was going to get shaved off. I really had hope from that point on that we were going to get an absolute killer arc for Eli, and it felt a bit underwhelming from that point on, if I'm being honest. It was like episode 6 was doing something really juicy with it. You know, having Dimitri, you know, be the one who was always scared of doing karate, was always put off the idea, who out of the 3 original kids, you know, because Robbie was, you know, doing his own thing at that time, the 3 original kids, Dimitri, Miguel, and Robbie, Dimitri, Miguel, and Eli, sorry, he was the one who showed resistance to it. He was the one who didn't want to do it. He was like, you know, I'd kill both of you to get a spit in my face, you know, and look at how far he's come. And I love the poetic nature of him being the one that gets Eli back into it, the same way Eli tried getting him into it as Hawk, and Hawk tried forcing Dimitri into it, whereas Dimitri persuaded Eli to, you know, get back into the fight and encourage him and say, hey, it doesn't matter if you're this, that, whatever, you're always my binary brother. Great scene. But from that on, like, episode 7 and 8, I feel like his arc was just non-existent. He was just kind of standing there in the background half the time. There was one shot he had at the dance where he looked at Moon, and they didn't really do anything with it. It was just kind of there. Now, obviously, in regards to him and Moon at the tournament, I love that. I thought that was a great homage to Rocky and Adrian of the old Rocky movies, where, you know, Adrian! Rocky! Adrian! You know, it was a great homage to that, obviously without the screaming, but the creators did say the finale packed a lot of Rocky references in there, and Hawk and Moon, it's Rocky and Adrian, so you ain't gotta like it, but that's the way it is. But essentially, aside from that, there's like a massive chunk of time where not a lot is really given to him, and I think that's just because they're trying to set up the conflict between the 4 main characters of Miguel, Robbie, Sam, and Tori, and they're trying to set that up, but then also they're setting up the conflict of Kreese, Silver, and Johnny, and Daniel. Like, they're trying to sort of balance that. Maybe that's why he kind of took a back seat. But I feel like there was a huge missed opportunity to have Eli reforge his destiny with Miyagi-Do in such an emotionally fulfilling way. And one thing I often talked about before Season 4 dropped was, with Robbie out of the picture, Daniel has an affinity for building people back up. And the gap that Robbie's exit left on him could have been filled with Hawk. You know, he could have taken this guy who's done all these horrible things and shown him a better path. And ultimately, that's exactly what happened. Like, we don't need everything spelled out for us, but I think you could have had some really good scenes in episodes 7 and 8 particularly, where you see Eli really sort of engrossing himself in the Miyagi-Do legacy, the same way he started the season with, by looking at that painting on the wall, and then, you know, he's like, talk is cheap, and he went to go and build the sparring deck. Like, you could have had so many great moments like that, where Eli and Danny just had a conversation, where Eli was sat down, maybe after an intense day, maybe, you know, things not working out for him, maybe his confidence is completely shattered, and then Daniel sits down to have a talk with him, and they both have a heart-to-heart, and then Eli apologizes to Daniel for everything that he's done, and then Daniel brings up what he did while he was in Cobra Kai, therefore strengthening the bond between Eli and Daniel, but also, again, showing us, the viewers, that, hey, we've all made mistakes, we've all screwed things up, we've all done things in the past that we're not proud of. It's about how we move forward from here, and how we take the lessons that we've learned forward in a positive light. And I really think there was a missed opportunity there to have Eli really reforge himself in Miyagi-Do. Now, he will be doing that next season, but not in the same kind of way, because next season he's going to be defending the Valley. You've got Sam dealing with the guilt of the loss. You've got Tori, you know, feeling absolutely crushed because she was basically handed the trophy, a trophy that she felt like she earned and she didn't earn. So it's basically, it's a cheat trophy, you know, and she's in danger. And then Miguel and Robbie are out the picture, so Eli will have literally no choice but to step up. And I've talked about this a lot. Until Robbie comes back to the Valley to explain the situation of what happens to Kenny, or what happened to Kenny, I think you will see, for most of the season, Hawk and Sean at loggerheads. Sean will be like, hey, I need some clarification on what's happened. And then it'll be typical Cobra Kai fashion. Sean and Hawk have a misunderstanding, and then it plays out exactly like this. Brooks 2.0. Now, what do I mean by this? Sean is a very aggressive fighter. He's an enforcer. But in an out-and-out fight, Hawk would absolutely destroy him. Like, Hawk would Hawk would tear him apart. So, if you have a character like Sean, right, you use him the same way Clubber Lang was used in Rocky 3. Haggle Eli, belittle him, you know, maybe make a move to Moon just to piss Eli off, just to rattle his cage, because for all intents and purposes now, he's the champion, so Sean's going to want to push him. And with that, you know, you have this moment where maybe Hawk embraces his inner Hawk, like the Hawk that he removed, he thought that he'd gone away from since he saved Dimitri. What if that Hawk starts resurfacing? What if that Hawk starts to come back? And unlike with Brooks, who he showed absolutely no mercy to, he has the opportunity to do the same thing again to Sean, and this time he doesn't. And it plays out like a good comparison I could give it to is Fast and Furious 5, when Dom and Hobbs are beating the crap out of each other. When Dom has the wrench and he's about to bash Hobbs' head in, he doesn't, and he hits the side of like the concrete, and he holds back. Maybe this is like a sort of redefining of that moment where Hawk doesn't do that. Maybe he holds himself back and he stops going all in. But that's just something I wanted to put in this video because I didn't feel like it warranted another video. But back to my initial point, I just feel like there could have been some good scenes in there, some really good juicy scenes of Eli sort of like lots of moments of introspection, lots of moments of really just, you know, feeling, you know, the shame of all the actions he's done, you know, hiding behind his mohawk and hiding behind the Cobra Kai badge of honor. And now he's got nothing. He's got his original dojo's gone. Miguel's not even with him anymore. Johnny just completely isn't even there for him at all, just non-existent. And he's alone. You know, he's the lone wolf in season 4. And I think there was a couple of opportunities they had to really sort of do a bit more with that. So it is a bit disappointing that they didn't. And as much as I love this show, you know, this is one of the things that I've said before where sometimes it's a shame because you've only got X amount of runtime in an episode. But in episodes 7 and 8, Eli barely has anything to do other than stand there in the background in a gi. Like, that's literally all he has to do. No doubt in season 5, he'll have a much bigger role because, again, he will be defending the Valley. So it all rests on his shoulders pretty much until everyone gets their shit together. But I just feel like there was an opportunity there to really sort of have an emotionally compelling arc about him finding the strength within himself to carry on and give himself the kickstart he needed to get himself right back on the train and go again. Like, that's what I personally feel they could have gone with. But, you know, it's just one of those missed opportunities. But I wanted to talk a bit more specifically about it because I've been asked a little bit, you know, to elaborate my point. And hopefully this has cleared some things up. But, you know, comment down below, guys. Let me know. Do you agree with any of the points I've raised? Do you feel the same way about Hawk's arc this season? Do you feel like, you know, there could have been some more to go on? And do you think for Season 5 he's going to go from strength to strength? Now, I'm inclined to think he's going to get even better of a story. But I feel like the peak of his story was last season. Because Hawk, since the beginning of this show, has been defined by his hair. You take that away, there's so much emotional gravity there. I just feel like that they could have done more with that, you know? But maybe they'll have most of it next season. Who knows? Who knows? Guys and girls, I will see you all in another video soon. Cool it with the nerd shit, huh?